Very warm welcome and good morning, Aurobindo ji. Thanks for taking time. Commodities has been to the action always with lot of global movements, geopolitical situations. So coming to the hedgers and traders perspective from base metal angle, uh, wanted to understand that how aluminium is been seen because aluminium is holding near its highs versus the broader metal market is seeing the corrections. So, what is your view on that?
Yeah, hi, Supreme. Hi. Uh, Quick facts I wanted to update to you. So, we have just completed one quarter of this calendar year, if you consider, and fourth month is just started. Um, this year, we have seen record high in copper prices. We have seen record high in aluminum prices, and zinc also moved up. But if we talk about the war condition, then the situation has actually turned completely changed. Okay. आपने मुझे एल्यूमिनियम के बारे में पूछा. The important part here is that aluminum, generally a slowest commodity in terms of performance, has actually given the highest of its price return. So if we look at today, aluminum is trading around $3,500 per metric ton, which was at the start of the year, it was only $3,000 per metric ton. So close to 15 to 20% rise. And it is
Yes.
still holding up this gain. Okay. Whereas if I talk about other base metals, they have given up their gains, and we will talk about them eventually. Now, coming back onto the aluminum, in the year 2025, aluminum has always been a very deficit market. So roughly, if I can talk about, the global supply is about 73.5 million tons. Okay. Out of which around 60% goes to China, which is about 45 million tons, and that is capped. Okay. एंड बाकी कंट्री से अगर यूरोप से बात करें या इंडिया से बात करें या यूएस से बात करें, सो ओवरऑल एल्यूमिनियम हैज बीन अ टाइट कमोडिटी. Now, Middle East also plays an important role. In 2026, first 2 months, aluminum was holding steady, but all of a sudden, last month, we have seen a sharp rise in aluminum prices to $3,500. तो डेफिसिट के ऊपर डबल डेफिसिट हो गया, एंड दैट इज बेसिकली बिकॉज ये जो मिडल ईस्ट में अभी वेस्ट एशिया में वॉर कंडीशंस चल रहा है, वहां पे सप्लाई को लेकर के बहुत बड़ा चैलेंजेस और भी आ गए हैं in terms of aluminum exports to the Western countries. So, on an average, 22 to 25% of aluminum is exported to both US and Europe. तो वो अभी थोड़े से डिस्टर्ब हो गए हैं. उसके चलते हुए aluminum prices has become very positive. Those who are tracking aluminum prices, more than the prices, one important factor to track is the regional premium. If you look at the Midwest premium in the US, it had gone into 3 digits or 4 digits. If you look at Japanese premium, that is also increased, which is called Asian premium. एंड यूरोपियन प्रीमियम. सो बेसिकली जब आप कोई भी कंट्री से कुछ इंपोर्ट करते हो, तो प्राइस के साथ साथ आपको प्रीमियम डिस्काउंट भी देना होता है. ठीक है. तो प्रीम इस रिसेंट वजह से, एल्यूमिनियम का तेजी की वजह से, वी हैव सीन अ प्राइस राइज प्लस अ एक्सटेंसिव excessive rise in the premium prices. So now the question here is, since aluminum is at 3,500, trading at a historical high, कैन इट कंटिन्यू टू रिमेन पॉजिटिव? तो जनरल पर्सपेक्टिव अगर देखें, अगर ये वॉर कंडीशन अगर सुलटता नहीं है, तो बेसिकली एल्यूमिनियम जो ऑलरेडी टाइट मार्केट है, वो हो सकता है आपको 4,000 की तरफ जाने का उम्मीद कर सकते हैं मीडियम टर्म में.
Oh, so 15%, 20% kind of rise can be seen further. And I do
हाँ.
remember,
या.
yeah, please.
नो नो, एक्चुअली 3,500 टू 4,000 तक जाने के लिए उसके लिए ट्रिगर होना पड़ेगा. जैसे एल्यूमिनियम ऑलरेडी टाइट है, और मिडल ईस्ट वॉर इतना आसान से सॉल्व नहीं होना चाहिए. मेरे ख्याल से इट्स गोइंग टू बी अप्स एंड डाउन्स डिस्कशन, जियोपॉलिटिकल डिस्कशन होते रहेंगे. तो मेरे ख्याल से ये जो अप्स एंड डाउन्स डिस्कशन होते रहेंगे, उसके चलते हुए मार्केट में वॉलेटिलिटी दिखेगा. डायरेक्शनली स्ट्रेट अवे $4,000 कहना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो सकता है, बट इन जनरल इफ यू लुक एट इट, energy intensive commodity, because of higher oil prices, aluminum supply tightness, and the flow of aluminum being difficult. So overall, we can be a positive bias towards aluminum further from here.
Yeah,
जी.
your views has really helped a lot of hedgers, and they've been doing their price bookings and hedging accordingly. So we were talking aluminum, and as you rightly mentioned, that other commodities also needs to be discussed. So copper from its highs had seen solid corrections and everything. Where do you, what factors are there? Where do you see copper moving next now?
Very interesting period going on. I mean, we just call it is a overall non-ferrous metals group, but कोई एक भी metal जो है, they are not moving in tandem. We just spoke about aluminum trading higher, and very interestingly, now you're asking me about copper. If you see copper prices, which went up to historical high of 14,000 plus dollars during this war issues, we have seen sharp decline towards 11,500, $700. Huge corrections. Okay. And as of before the war, I mean, 6 weeks ago, the copper was giving a YTD return in 2026, which means only in 1.5 months of 2026, around 16%. Today, if you see the price of copper, copper is giving a return of zero return now, no return. Okay. So just compare, aluminum is giving a return of 15 to 20% YTD, whereas copper is now giving zero return. 1 month before, it was giving a return of 16%. That means the entire gain of copper prices are actually eroded. So copper is pretty typically a commodity which you have to correlate not only from the perspective of demand supply, we have to correlate from the perspective of macro development, dollar performance, oil performance, and a scenario where risk on and risk off sentiment works. Copper is another metal where a lot of institutional players also participate in terms of investments, inflow and outflow. So ever since this war thing has happened, now a lot of risk off has happened. We have seen how markets have performed. They all have corrected. So while the equity markets have corrected, bond markets have gone up, dollar has gone up. So no doubt, copper, which is generally termed as a doctor copper, and the sentiment is based on the macro perspective. Since everything was risk off, the copper prices also have corrected. As we look at the investment positions at the LME and COMEX derivatives market in terms of the investment position holders, so they were net short in last 1.5 months. That means profit booking has happened. So going forward now, copper will be very important to watch out. We are around $12,400. Now you have to understand the way equity market fell, copper should have fallen even more. But what is it supporting or stopping? So one good factor that is stopping and supporting is the Chinese buying below $12,000. So typically क्या होता है, whenever copper prices falls below $12,000, थोड़ा बहुत interest Chinese market से आ जाते हैं. And not only from refined copper cathode demand आ रहा है, उनके जो फर्दर डेरिवेटिव्स प्रोडक्ट्स है उसमें भी काफी डिमांड आ रहे हैं, तो उसके चलते हुए कॉपर इज नाउ सपोर्टिव. सो वहाँ एक तरफ से आपका वॉर इश्यूज, रिस्क ऑफ मार्केट बिकमिंग ड्राई, so copper is correcting downside. Another side is China is kind of supportive. That is why when we talk about copper now, many of our clients are little confused ki which side to trade. In fact, we also have a little dicey view here because it is trading in both direction. So our perspective will be that as long as $11,500 is well supported for copper LME, so I think it is all safe, but we are not also looking at price beyond 13,000 very soon. Ji.
Okay. So this kind of market actually definitely, markets where one has to be hedged all the time, right? Matlab,
Yeah.
you've been always. What
So
is your
when market is volatile, and as I am just talking here, that direction wise, it is not very clear, and we are going to witness both side direction. That means if you are purchasing your raw material to trade or to manufacture something, that means your sales are not fixed. So then you don't know how your purchase and sale differential will be. So let's say if you're buying copper at 12,000, by the time you manufacture it and sell it, if it is not above 12,000, you carry a risk because you continue to see a risk on your business. So therefore, with this kind of market, no choice than using financial derivatives products for hedging, or you ensure that your sales are fixed while you are purchasing your raw material.
Completely agree. So we were talking about aluminium, copper. What about zinc? Zinc is correcting from its highs, but if we look at on the yearly numbers, it is still positive. So your expert advice on zinc?
Very interesting. Before the war, all the metals were rising. So aluminum was rising moderately, whereas the larger part of the gains we had seen in copper, we had seen in zinc, we had seen in other metals also. So when it was all rising, zinc prices moved above $3,500 per metric ton. And fundamentally, it was not that very supportive that the zinc should sustain such kind of gains. Now, the core focus of discussion today going on is all about the war thing. So when the risk off happened, now every metal fell, as we spoke about copper, except aluminium. The zinc prices also fell, lead also fell, nickel also fell, everything fell. So zinc has come off from the highs, which was not to be going to the levels of 3,500 because it was driving by the other metals before the war. Now, once the war thing came, the $3,500 prices eroded, and now we are comfortably around $3,200. So, going forward, zinc will be a period which is a commodity which will be very difficult to manifest. What we think here is that one is that on the exchange warehouse number, if you look at Shanghai, LME, or in fact MCX, put together the amount of stock that is lying is not sufficient to drive the direction of zinc. Okay, it will look higher. Higher stocks should make the zinc prices lower. But overall, if you look at from the mine to refined supply of zinc, that tightness continues to be there. So it is a double warming situation now, and therefore zinc is silently trading very volatile. Those who are into zinc trading or users of zinc, they are actually feeling the brunt of it. So we see zinc prices to remain volatile definitely going forward. At least this quarter, if we say April, May, June, we have a very broad range to predict on zinc. We keeping a band of $3,100 to $3,400. So $300 band in 3 months is actually big for zinc. But looking at the factors, we have to have such kind of band and needs to be careful while trading on zinc.
So one more question we had: lead. Is it a structural downtrend, or you think it's a short-term correction kind of stuff?
I mean, lead as such as a commodity, answer is yes. Structurally, it is downtrend. Ever since your EV demand has come, lithium demand has come, lead has never been very bullish. Okay. Last 3, 4 years of data, 5 years of data, if you see, it's a very broad range, predictable range, 2,200 on the higher side and $1,800 on the lower side. So $1,800 is basically towards the floor price of cost of production, marginal cost of production, and $2,200, no major demand. So that is why that $400 is the range through which lead typically moves, and it is comfortable to move in that range. Now, with this war thing, lead which was trading around $2,100, it fell down to 1,900 and below that also. But now, if you see this 1,900 quickly, it has rebounded back to 1930, 1950s levels. Okay. So the broad nature of lead is to maintain that band which is there, although it is structurally bearish, but it is also not falling below $1,800. So, by virtue of any conditions, lead will continue to remain like this. If there is a war condition, the way we talked about copper prices fell by 15%, 16%, lead will not be that kind of reactions. It will be immune to any sort of factors. So, it is a steady commodity. In a way, if you look at it, with a thin margin, one can actually capitalize the lead commodity than any other commodity, which are highly risk oriented commodities. So, to answer your question, Supreme, we are not that very bearish on lead prices from here at least, when especially it is trading at $1,900. But of course, you cannot make a very strong view that it will go to $2,200 or something. So, we would like to keep a band of $1,900, which is close to the current price, and on to the higher side around 2,000, 2,050. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the wonderful insights on the base metal side. Looking forward
Yeah.
to connect you more and more. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir. Thank you. Thank you.